Sixth grade Excel, lesson 105, solving word problems involving percent, including the word not. All right, so you need to understand percents already in order to solve these, and we're going to kind of be flipping things around to find out what percent is not a certain thing. Here's our first problem. All 10 of Ray's 10 shirts are green. What percent of his shirts are green? Well, if all 10 are green, that means 100 out of 100 by multiplying by 10 on top and bottom. So 100 out of 100 is 100%. If all of something is what we're talking about 100%. The whole group is 100%. The parts of the whole always add up to 100 when using percent. 3/5 of Laura's 30 animals are cats. What percent of her animals are not cats? There are two different ways to solve the problem. The problem can be solved. Method 1, if 3/5 are cats, then 2/5 are not cats, because 5/5 is all the cats. So if we have 3/5 as cats, then we have 2/5 as not cats. Make sense? So if 2/5 are not cats, and we want to change that 2/5 into a percent, we have to make it out of 100. So 5 times 20 is 100. We have to also multiply 2 times 20 to get the 40. So 40% are not cats. The other method is to simply find out the percent that are cats. So if 3/5 of the animals are cats, to change that into a percent, again we have to make it out of 100. So 5 times 20 is 100. 3 times 20 is 60. So 60% are cats. But the question asks how many are not cats. So, or what percent are not cats. So 100% is the whole thing. 60% are cats, which makes 40% not cats, because 100 minus the 60, 100% is all the animals. 100 minus 60 is 40, so 40% are not cats. You can see these answers are the same, just two different ways to get the answer. Use the one that's easiest for you. All right, let's try one of these kind of together here. 3/10 of Rosario's 20 shirts are green. What percent of his shirts are not green? So it says 3/10 are green. They give you how many shirts he has, which we don't really care, because all we're changing is 3/10 into a percent, or we're changing the not part, of that into a percent. So two ways to do that. We can change the 3/10 into a percent. First, 10 times 10 is 100, so 3 times 10 is 30. So that makes 30% that are green. But they want to know what percent is not green. So 100 take away 30 gives you 70%. So we say 70% is not green. The other way to do that problem is to change the 3/10 first, that if 3/10 are green, 7/10 are not green. And again, changing that into out of 100, because it's a percent. Percent means per 100. Each top and bottom get multiplied by 10, and so we get the 70% that way. All right, go ahead and try number 2. Pause the video and then turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. Number 2, 1/4 of Clara's 32 hats are brown. What percent of her hats are not brown? Again, they give you this extraneous information. We don't even need to know that. We want to find out that 1/4 of her hats are brown and what percent is not brown. We don't care how many hats there are. So one way to do it is to change 1/4 into out of 100. 4 times 25 is 100. And so 1 times 25 is 25. So 25% are brown, which means 100 minus 25, 75% are not brown. So that's one way to do that problem. The other way to do it is to do, instead of having it show 1/4 for the brown, we can say that 3/4 are not brown. Change that into out of 100, multiply top and bottom by 25, and you still get 75%. Okay, go ahead and do 3, 4, and 5. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. All right, here we go. 8/10 have green eyes. Oh, it says what percent of her friends do not have green eyes? Again, we don't care how many friends she has in order to solve the problem. And if 8/10 have green eyes, that means 2/10 do not have green eyes. And so we would do 2/10 to change that to 100. Of course, there's different ways to do this. By multiplying top and bottom by 10 is how we're going to do it, though. and that's 20%. 3/20ths have green eyes, which means 17/20ths do not have green eyes. And so you're going to multiply top and bottom by 5. 17 times 5 is 85. The answer is 85%. 1/2 have green eyes, which means 1/2 do not have green eyes. It's going to be the same on both of those. To change a half to 100, we multiply top and bottom by 50, and the answer would be then 50%. Or half of them have green eyes, the other half do not have green eyes. All right, here's number 6. 40% of the 250 children at Maricella's school are under 10 years old. How many of the children at school are younger than 10 years old? 40% are under 10. So what we want to do is find what 40% of 250 is. The way we do that is we change 40% into 0.40 and multiply 0.40, or the 0 is meaningless, times 250. 0.4 times 250 is 100. So 100 children are younger than 10 years old. You might want to rewind the video and watch me explain that again if that was a little tricky for you. A store sold 65% of the 90 pounds of meat it had for sale. How many pounds of meat did the store sell? Well, if it sold 65% of the 90, and a little reminder, of something is usually going to mean that we multiply by that. So we're going to do 65% is equal to 0.65. Some of you are calling it simply 65. It's not 65, it's 65%, which is 65 hundredths, which is 0.65. And I'm going to multiply 65 hundredths times 90. Now I like to put the 90 on the bottom because I have a 0 right there. All I have to do is copy the 0. 5 times 9 is 45, carry the 4. 9 times 6 is 54, plus 4 is 58. We're going to move the decimal point over 2 spots, so the answer is 58.5 pounds. Okay, go ahead and do number 8. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. All right, 15% of the 30 gallons of water in Molly's fish tank splashed out while she was moving it. How much water is still in the tank? This is going to be the opposite. So if 15% went out, that means we're left with 85%, or 100 minus 15, which is 85. 85% is still in the tank. And if there's 30 gallons to start off with, we're going to do 0.85 times 30. It's not 85 times 30, it's 0.85 times 30. Put the 0 down as a placeholder. 5 times 3 is 15, carry the 1. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Move the decimal point over 2 spots, and so there are 25.5 gallons left in the tank. All right, we got one more page to go. Pause the video, do these 2 problems, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. Number 9, 43% of the 470-mile migration flock of birds is over water. How many miles do they fly over land? So land is the opposite of water. We're going to have to change this 43% to the opposite percent of that. 100 minus 43 is 57. So 57% of these 470 miles is over land. So I'm going to put 470 times 0.57, not 57, and do 0 times 7, 49, 28, 32, placeholder right there. 0 times 5 is 0, 7 times 5 is 35, carry the 3, 4 times 5 plus 3, and I can add it all together here and get 0, 9, 7, 6, 2. Move the decimal point over 2 spots, and so the answer is 267.9 miles. And the last one, 95% of the 80 people are at the community pool are not in the water. How many people are in the water? That's the opposite. And 100% is all the people. 95% are not in the water, which means 5% of the people are in the water. And so we're going to do, now I'm sure some of you are going to mess this one up because 5% is not 0.5. 5% is equal to 5 out of 100. 5 hundredths is written like this. So you're going to do 80 times 0.05. 0 times 5 is 0. 8 times 5 is 40. Move the decimal point over 2 spots, which means that we have 4 people that are not in the pool. All right, thanks for watching.